What's happening? What's happening?
So,
What's happening? It's your boy, Boss Man Ticket.
King Marco on the motherfucking microphone, here to give you niggas some game. Hope you guys listen. What's
Let's
going
go.
on, man?
Doc Rivers, the new job, Philly. Let's talk about it. What you think?
Well, I'm not sure about this one. I like Doc, but I don't know if this is the right job for him. He might be making a hasty decision.
That
Trying
was
to,
too quick.
huh?
That was too quick. The ink wasn't even dry from the divorce. This
I
motherfucker
told you.
another marriage.
Yeah, I told you he was gonna get a job soon. It wasn't gonna be that long for him to get employed.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but I think a lot of things came in its way. You know, a lot of black coaches got fired, so they probably was in the hunt for Doc Rivers. He probably gonna get paid more money with this job than he would if he stayed with the Clippers. Believe it or not, he'd probably be better off financially. So,
But like you
but
said,
I don't trust Philadelphia. I don't know if Elton Brand is the right GM for that team. He's made some bad decisions. I don't know. Signing Tobias Harris to all that money, and then he signed Al Horford to all that money, and they can't get out of these contracts, and nobody's going to take these contracts off their plate. So I don't know what kind of moves they're going to make. They're going. I don't know what Doc. I don't know how Doc and Ben Simmons are going to play. I don't know about these guys. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about this move.
what's
Philadelphia.
the problem with Doc and Ben Simmons?
Well, Jimmy Butler. They claim that Jimmy Butler left because those guys weren't taking basketball seriously.
Oh,
So, Doc is a serious guy. He
shit.
wants to win,
I let them Clippers ran over his motherfucking ass.
but that was politics. He had Kawhi, he had Paul George, he had high priced players. Boston was different than all the other places because those guys were serious about basketball, just like Doc was serious about basketball. So I don't know. I'm not sure about Philadelphia. I'm not sure about Philadelphia. I don't know if politics is going to go on the way. One of those guys is going to have to get traded. They might have to be Ben Simmons, honestly. Unless they probably what they're going to probably do is give it a go and see how this thing unfolds. But if it ain't working out, one of those guys is going to have to go. This is the last stand for Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid being together.
I
This is the
thought that
last.
motherfucker. I thought they was gonna disband that shit this year. But I guess they get that motherfucker one more run.
Yep.
I guess they thinking Doc go clean it up. Doc ain't clean shit up.
Oh,
So
I
that's
can't
the
say
wrong
that
motherfucker. That's the wrong. But put like this: you ain't about to get no championship fucking with Doc. You ain't. You definitely ain't get that fucking with him.
Well, he ain't get no championship in
Get
Philly.
him out.
Not with that team.
Nah. But I tell you what, even when you do build that thing up the right way, shit, you definitely you don't want Doc as a motherfucking leader of that shit. I know I wouldn't. I'm
Well,
cold. We seen he had motherfucking Live City, jacked it off. They should have did more than what they did. If not win the ring, because they had seen the finals once. This motherfucker, they said he only won 3 playoff series. That's what it was that him and Frank Vogel did. Out of the whole motherfucking time, you only won 3 fucking playoff series, man. You're a fucking failure, Doc. Your black ass is out of there. And if Philly smart, I wouldn't sign your ass no long term deal.
they gonna sign him to a long term deal. They gonna sign him to a long. He's not taking that deal if it's not at least 5 years.
And,
It's gonna
and,
be at
and then
least 5 years.
and then you just ran over there so motherfucking quick. Like you ain't even weigh your options or what? Or did you weigh your options that fast? You ain't even got time to sit and think about it. What this motherfucker I can win this week sometime, right?
Last week.
Probably about two,
Last
3
week.
days. Was it? Oh, I
Yeah, it was
don't know.
last week. It was last week. It was around this
So,
time last week.
so this motherfucker had a week. I
I
don't
think.
know.
Well, like I said, I'm not sure about this.
This is
I don't know if I would have taken that Philadelphia. Philadelphia seems like a mess to me. I'm not sure about this one. I'm a little nervous for Doc on this one. I think he might have made a hasty decision on Philadelphia.
oh, he most definitely did that. Ain't no doubt in my mind. on some thirsty shit.
Well, we're gonna find out how this goes. I mean, he got pieces, but it's really all about if Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons is gonna take basketball very seriously this year. If they don't grow this year, they're not gonna do no better than what they've been doing. You know, be fourth or fifth seed, you know, in the East. And the East is gonna be a little bit tougher now that KD's back and everything. So it's really they gotta not only deal with Toronto, they gotta deal with Boston, now they gotta deal with the Nets. And there's gonna be some unforeseen team. There's always some unforeseen team that's gonna come around that we don't know nothing about. Okay, that's gonna make that jump. So Philadelphia, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical on this one. I'm a little skeptical. Oh yeah, I'm skeptical on this one for sure.
What's the farthest you see him taking that shit? That team
this next year, second round, max.
The usual.
He'll be out in the second round. I'd rather him go to a team that really needed a coach. You know, I'm not sure if
you wanted him in New Orleans, which I thought that wouldn't have been good.
That would have been better for them. That's at least a better. Those guys seem like they're a little more serious about basketball than Philadelphia to me. Okay, you can say whatever you want about New Orleans, but they were 6-22 at one point in their season, and they got themselves back into that playoff race. You got to be a little bit serious about basketball in order to do that. Philadelphia, if they were 6-22 last year, they wouldn't have been close to the playoffs. They probably would have been a lottery. They probably been top 10 pick this year. So I'm not sure on this deal. Honestly, I'm gonna say this might hurt Doc as far as his legacy is concerned.
Doc legacy, what shit? What you thought? What you think? Doc legacy is something anyway? I don't think it's much of nothing. That championship. Other than that, what?
He beat LeBron. He beat LeBron when they were the number one seed. His last year in Cleveland. That was unexpected. They weren't supposed to go to the finals that year. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know about as far as legacy is concerned. Doc is up there. Okay, now the Clippers, you know, that's hard to turn a whole franchise around that has been totally used to losing. Okay, that team was used to losing for 30 years before he got there. Okay. Not to mention, they was in the middle of a scandal with that owner. You know, Doc coaching those teams. You know, he was coaching those teams that was in the middle of a scandal with that owner who had racist views, you know, and stuff like that. So you got to kind of give him a pass. That's probably one of the reasons why they didn't get as far as they gotten, because of the ownership. You know, changing ownerships in between your tenure and then expecting to still win a championship. I think that was a little too tall of a task for him. So I'm gonna give him somewhat of a pass in LA. That wasn't all his fault. So if you had a better organization and wasn't so,
still, you know, he had a team that was supposed to produce more than what it did. It was supposed to yield more, and it did.
Can't win with bad management. Can't win with bad management. You can say whatever you want, but you can't win with bad management. You can't bring me a team.
If you got bad management, but you got the horses, you should at least be, like I said, fuck it. If you don't produce a fight,
give me a team that give me an organization that had bad management that won championships. Give me a team. You gotta give me one. Who had bad management?
When the Bulls management kind of fucked up?
No. Hold on. They drafted Scottie Pippen. They traded for Scottie Pippen. They drafted him. Drafted Horace Grant.
They drafted Blake Griffin.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
They drafted Blake Griffin. Okay, but that team.
So all that shit you naming, I can say for them. So what the fuck you talking about? But regardless, Mike didn't like the Jerry. That team wasn't. They let go of Phil Jackson.
You said it again? Say it again.
The Bulls let go of Phil Jackson, right? Wasn't that part of the reason why Mike was blown out of that motherfucker too?
Okay, but the fact of the matter is,
right?
Okay, but the fact of the matter is this: you can't sit there and say that they were bad management when they brought in quality players. Okay, you can bring
the Clippers do.
No, not like the Bulls.
They gave Doc enough horses. They gave Doc enough horses to do more than what the fuck he accomplished.
I disagree.
No matter how you look at it.
I disagree.
So that Lob City was just a second round team. That's all it was.
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah. I never once heard them being the team to win it all. They were never that team.
I said the Western Conference Finals, they was good for that 1 year. They could at least done that 1 year.
Nope.
Come on, that motherfucker underachieved. Straight up.
Nope. I disagree.
Straight up.
I disagree with you on that.
Doc fumbled the ball too many times. Steve Ballmer said, "Get that nigga up out of here."
I'm gonna disagree with you.
Fired his ass too. I told you that shit was over. Fire Doc.
Okay, but I disagree as far as underachieving in LA.
He did. You only won 3 fucking series, and this nigga Vogel did that in 1 fucking year. You'd have had damn near a dime. Man, I ought to put your ass out there. I ought to put my foot in your ass on the way out the door. Fuck, I paid you for. At one point, you was running the whole show around Chim. And then, so then when he was so you said bad management, this motherfucker, he was able to pick his groceries and cook the bitches, serve them on whatever kind of plate and everything else, nigga. So what's up with that? Huh?
I disagree with you on that.
You can't talk that shit.
I'm about to disagree with you on that, bro. Bottom line.
How the fuck can you disagree? You said that he was not able to bring the players in. He was the fucking general manager too, right? Correct? At one point, he was both. He had the right to pick who the fuck he wanted. So now that's basically saying, hey man, you can coach this motherfucker and get who you want to play on this motherfucker.
It never works. I don't agree with having a coach as a GM. There's no coach as a GM that's successful. There's no coach that's a GM that's successful doing that. It never works.
Okay. Nah.
That's what it is.
That nigga underachieved. You were hiring for a coach for your team?
Yep. Like I said, Doc is better off with teams that are like not as talented. Okay, they're not as talented. Another thing too about the Clippers. Okay, another thing that for some reason, ever since Doc has been there, there's always been chemistry problems. Okay, that ain't Doc's fault. Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan and and Blake Griffin, they weren't the best of friends. Their chemistry wasn't that good. They looked good on the court, but they weren't. But the chemistry wasn't that good.
Tell me this: the coach's job ain't to build camaraderie in that too. So issues, he got to bring these niggas together and make them understand what it is, and tell them y'all niggas is really beefing about nothing. What the fuck what y'all beefing about? Put the shit on the table right now. Niggas ain't doing that type of shit. Let me coach with them up. Hey, let's come in here and talk about it, man. What the fuck going on? You fucking this girl? No. You gonna beat his mama up or fucking on his mama? No. Okay, you stole some money from this nigga? No. You owe this nigga some money? No. All right. Well, anything else, nigga, y'all can put this on the table and talk it out. What you talking about, man? Niggas ain't doing that though. So they just letting the beef just stir and they can feel it in the air, but ain't nobody addressing this shit. It ain't nothing but a simple, because y'all niggas got it. Because this thing, when you break this nigga, y'all niggas gonna have to get along. Y'all about to be around each other all the time. Let's don't put this shit on the table and think if these niggas talk about it, get whatever out clear in the air, they can move on from there. We got people. And then now coach can't set that up.
Nope.
He's paid to do that because he's a coach. He overseeing a whole bunch of men. So he said, okay, I see motherfuckers beefing with Paul George about this or that and the other. Okay, I'm about to pull these niggas in. And we got to talk about this shit. Because even KD said, when that shit with him and Draymond, he said they all should have talked about it as a group. He said they kept on trying to move on with that shit. And that wasn't the way to handle that shit. You got to bring that shit in, nigga. This a family. You know what I'm talking about? So if you a family, you got to bring that. All right.
No, you can't bring it.
And he the daddy of the family. The coach is. He brings.
Chris Paul has had problems everywhere he goes. Is it not true?
You know what? If Chris Paul seemed to be the problem, get him out of there.
It ain't that easy when he's an all-star and he's damn near he's best point guard in the league. You can't trade the best point guard, bro.
Because if he bad for chemistry and because look where it got. So if it's going on, if the ceiling is only the second round because it's bad.
So whose team was it? So you're saying that team was Blake Griffin's team?
No, I'm saying Chris Paul. The problem either he gonna put like this before I would get rid of him. My bad. I would say I would have to figure out what it is with Chris. Now if it's Chris is gonna keep on being Chris no matter what, Chris got to get the fuck out of here.
That's what was going on.
Me and Chris got to talk one-on-one before we even bring this shit on the table. So, you know what I'm saying? I got to slide him to the side. Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? You know, you a leader. You know what I'm saying? You can't be doing all this, that, and other. If you trying to win a championship, how bad you want to win? Or is your ego bigger than your want to win? See, a nigga like me got that thing. Nigga, I could pop my collar, but no.
Yeah, easy to say that. It's hard for them to listen to you and they making more money than you.
Hey, you know what? If you don't, hey, look, I'll tell you, look how far you got doing it your way. And keep on doing it your way and see how far you get. That motherfucker will come back holler at me, believe it. Motherfuckers probably scared to holler at them niggas like that. And them niggas probably got an attitude. And they feeling themselves. But I'm going to put it on you. You know, I'm going to tell him, look, I ain't going to get greasy with him. Just how I said it right there. I didn't offend him no way. But I spoke and got my point across. And sometimes even with me or anybody, sometimes nigga might tell you something you need to hear. You might not even soak it in right there, but you might go home, depending on what type of nigga you is, and think about it later on. Be like, why that nigga really said that to me? And start doing some reflecting. Now, if this nigga so high on his pedestal that he don't reflect, he gonna be where he at. You know what I'm saying? That's up to the person. Hey, look, I'm gonna throw it out there for you. And then if I see you ain't soaking it in, I gotta get rid of your motherfucking ass. And that's when you might catch it. Like, oh, this nigga really cut me, and I know why. Okay. he got rid of me.
Okay, you're not, but that's all fine and dandy, but you're probably not gonna get equal value for Chris Paul.
Hey.
Okay, so my point is that
what the fuck was you getting out of Chris Paul? Second round. You only won 3 fucking playoff series. So, I mean, you was getting put out first round a lot of motherfucking time.
Okay. Not to mention, they also had injuries too. They also had injuries as well on that team. You know, they never really was. Chris Paul was always hurt. Blake Griffin was hurt. Okay, a lot of players were hurt. So you gotta take those into account as well. Okay, they might not have had their teams the whole time. Let's look at Chris Paul.
The 50 where Joel and other motherfuckers be gone. So what? You just trying to go snatch some quick bags? Is that what you want?
Hey, I'm saying I don't like this. I don't like this move for him to go into Philadelphia. I think it's too premature for him to make this kind of decision. You know, I just think it is.
You would think that nigga ain't had no money. If you got bread, you can sit back and wait. Teams ain't going nowhere.
It's not the money. I don't think it's the money. I just think that it might be ego at this point. He might feel that, hey, I might want to show the world that, hey, I'm still employable in the NBA. No matter what people say, no matter how bad people want to crucify me as a coach right now, I'm still, you know, capable of landing on my feet somewhere else. I don't like
after he strike out here, that job, he ain't getting a job the next week. Again, I bet you that. It ain't gonna be that fast next time.
He might not care about that time. You know, it's 5 years from now. He's 55
he might be ready to go to the booth after that, because your motherfucking ass is out of here.
No, I personally believe he should have waited a year at least. You know, decompress for a year, do some commentating, and then make a decision on whether or not he wants to go back to coaching. Doing this early with that team, I'm a little leery on.
Did Houston get a coach yet?
No. If he didn't go to Houston, if he'd went to Houston, I'd have been okay with it a little bit better. At least he got Harden down there. You know, at least he got some players. You know, Harden's somewhat dedicated to basketball more than those players in Philadelphia. So, you know, Harden and Westbrook, they don't cheat you on the court. Okay, so with that team, I can understand why he might not have wanted Westbrook. Westbrook would probably drive him crazy. You know, Westbrook will really fall out if Westbrook is going to be there. So I can understand why he might not want it Houston. You know, Westbrook is, you know, he might be too alpha for Doc in that situation. So I can understand Houston. If he did New Orleans, I would say that. If he did New Orleans more than Philadelphia, then I would understand. I mean, you got Zion Williamson, he got a rookie, he got a young player, he got a young team. That's what he needs. He kind of needs a young team that hasn't been broken in all the way. So, that double shit again.
You go ahead.
Yeah. So if he'd have chose that team, I probably would have been okay with it. New Orleans is still a very young team. Chris Paul was already a veteran when he got there. It's a lot of different variables with that. Then he had veteran players. I don't know. The Clippers was never really assembled right to me. Okay, it just never was assembled right. You had DeAndre Jordan, and he's a good shot blocker, and he's a good rebounder, and he gets up in the air as far as the dunks, but he didn't have no game. He didn't have enough skill for them, and that kind of hurt them. Having DeAndre he kind of clogged the paint with Blake. Blake never really had no freedom. Blake jump shot wasn't that good either at that time. They were high flyers, but if you get them in a half court setting and you cut out the alley oops, you can somewhat neutralize the Clippers. At that point.
So you said it really wasn't no substance to that offense.
It wasn't like that to me. I just don't. Chris Paul was good. Then they had Jamal Crawford and they had JJ Redick, but like I said, the Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan was kind of like hurting themselves. They're good as far as selling commercials and selling tickets and being Lob City and making highlight plays, but when it came down to the playoffs, man, all of your deficiencies will come to light, and that's what happened with the Clippers. Okay, they weren't skilled enough to win a championship. They weren't. You think they were skilled to beat San Antonio? They're not skilled to beat San Antonio. Okay, they're not skilled to beat those teams. Okay, you had Chris Paul, JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford. Those guys were skilled, but Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. Sometimes you would have JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, and Chris Paul on the court at the same time. That's small. That's very small. Yeah. That's small. Okay, that's not all. I mean,
so you said that team wasn't built right.
It wasn't built right. Okay. DeAndre Jordan was not skilled enough to be there. Okay, the NBA was changing. You got to be skilled now. The center got to be damn near just as skilled as the guard now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so they were an old team. If they were like in the 80s or the 90s, they would have been better off there instead as opposed to where the game was at.
Okay, scratch that team. This team.
What about it? It's only 1 year. They're only together for 1 year. You really can't base that. You really can't sit there and say, oh, this is automatically a championship team. Only the Boston Celtics won a championship when they put a team together like this fast. Okay. But the difference between the Celtics and the Clippers was that the Celtics spent the whole summer. They went outside the country to play exhibition games together. Okay. They were
building the camaraderie.
They were building the camaraderie early. Yeah. As soon as they got Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, they started building camaraderie right then and there. That's why they won that championship. Okay, that's exactly why they won it. That's why Miami is in the finals right now. Miami was in the finals because they was together the whole fucking summer. Okay, that's why they're there. That's one of the reasons why they're there. Okay, so this Clipper team, man, they started playing probably the first day of practice. That's the first time they saw each other probably. So 1 year, that's not really enough to sit there and say, oh, Doc failed this team. Now, he might have failed losing to the Nuggets. He shouldn't have lost to the Nuggets. Okay, now I will agree with that. Okay, he shouldn't have lost to the Nuggets.
And he was up 3-1.
Okay, yeah, you up 3-1. Okay, but that bubble, man, I don't know about that bubble. Something's up with that bubble. I don't. Because that is eerie what's going on in that bubble. Miami is not supposed to be in the finals. Who the fuck would have thought that Miami was going to be in the finals? You'd have said that, oh yeah, the Miami Heat go and run through it. Not get there, run through it. Okay, run through the whole East. That was not nobody would believe you.
You got to be ready to dig deep. LeBron come from the projects. Yemi was homeless. LeBron had to go back to motherfucking what you call that? Spring Hill. He dug back there on this.
Well, something's going on in that bubble that I don't know. That's another discussion. But that bubble, I don't know what that was that's an eerie situation right there. You know, being up 3-1. Denver coming back from 3-1 twice. Okay, twice. That's weird. That wouldn't happen in if it was regular. If it was regular situations where they come into LA and trying to come back from 3-1, I don't know if that would have happened. I don't think so. I don't think that would have happened. I think that shit would have been over with. But this year, I would have had to give Doc a pass this year if he would have lost to the Lakers. If he'd have lost to the Lakers,
yeah, for sure.
Okay,
I think Ballmer would have gave him a pass. Some people saying I think Ballmer would have let him ride if he would have lost to the Lakers. But some people saying that once Ballmer seen the way the Lakers beat the Nuggets, that's what really got his ass fired. Which kind of makes sense.
I don't think that has anything to do with it personally. I really don't.
He said you had them bitches 3-up. Lakers took care of business and got him out the way. Your punk ass couldn't rally the troops to get a motherfucking game, and we was up all the games. Nigga, you whack. Get the fuck out of here. It ain't
no better. They had no leadership on that team.
Then that's where Doc supposed to take over and rally the motherfuckers back on. Look, who was the leader last year when they had Golden State on the ropes? That's why motherfuckers thinking you had Kevin Durant, Golden State, the unbeatable, the best team ever created. You gave them a little wreck. They gave him a little wreck. So you just imagine you put Kawhi Leonard and motherfucking way off P. Shit.
Kawhi Leonard was balling, but I'm telling you right now, what it was is that bottom line, they weren't as hungry. These guys, I told you, the worst thing that ever happened to them was that they beat the Lakers on Christmas. When they beat them on Christmas, it brought out a monster in them that they couldn't control. Okay, they started believing themselves that they can just win this shit no matter what. We can just turn it on and just win from that point on. Beating the Lakers on Christmas was the worst thing that ever happened to them. They should have let LeBron beat them by 25 points or something that night. Okay, they probably wouldn't have lost this series, but beating the Lakers on the biggest stage at the NBA at that point. Christmas Day is the biggest stage. You can agree with that, right? It's one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. The
biggest stage is the dance right down.
Okay.
But Christmas
is a big day. Okay, that's a big day.
Looking at basketball.
Okay, so that's a very big day. Okay, so they beat the Lakers on the biggest stage. Okay, at that point, they started believing in themselves that they could win this shit no matter what. Because they were losing that game. They were down in that game. They were down double digits in that game and came back and won that shit. And then they blew them out the game before. They beat them 2 times in a row. And from that point on, the Clippers said, "Oh, we can beat them whenever we want to. Whenever we're ready, we can beat them." And they took their foot off the gas for the rest of the season. They thought everybody could low manage because it wasn't just Kawhi being out on games. It wasn't just him. Paul George was on, Trez was gone, Lou Williams was gone, Pat Bev was gone. You know, they was low managing the whole fucking team. Okay, so that's what they did, and they thought they could just turn this shit on. And me personally, not being together for only 1 year, you can only do that if you like San Antonio. Popovich didn't start load managing until years down the road. He wasn't load managing in the beginning. Okay, with Tim Duncan and those guys. Okay.
What's next? Ain't no way that motherfucker should have been load managing.
I don't think Doc agrees with load management. Doc is a hard-nosed player. Okay, he come from the hard-nosed era. Okay, them 80s and them 90s basketball. He come from that era. I don't think Doc believes in load management, but he didn't have no control. He had no control. Ballmer and West was in control of that team.
If that's the case, Doc might have stepped off. He might say, "I can't fuck with this shit no more."
I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
If that's what you believe.
I believe so. I believe Doc had no control. He had no control of what's going on. I don't believe that Doc would have let Trez be gone for damn near a month. I just don't believe that. Doc is a hard-nosed coach. I'm sorry. That's what he is. Okay, but he can't control this situation. He got high-priced players. These probably the highest priced players he's ever had, honestly. Kawhi Leonard, yeah. Kawhi Leonard was more of a high-priced player than Paul Pierce and KG. Those guys didn't have no rings. Kawhi Leonard came in with rings. Okay, yeah. He's high price. This is the most high-priced team he's ever had. But Boston was self-contained. Boston coached themselves. You didn't really have to really get on their asses. Okay,
the general, nigga.
Okay, so you didn't really have to do that with them. So I'm not sure about this. I can't blame all this shit on Doc. In the end, the players got to go out there and win that motherfucker. In the end, the players got to go out there and police themselves. You think any of those coaches LeBron ever had policed them? Really?
Nah.
None of them coaches policed him. At the end of the day, LeBron got to get out there and police himself.
But okay. He knew out that bitch with grocery bags under his motherfucking eye.
Well, hey, that's probably LeBron worrying him half to death about how they can get better. Okay, so that's probably what was going on. But you didn't have to come and tell LeBron to, hey man, you got to step this up. We can't be losing in the first round or the second round like this. Okay.
Did you watch what Floyd said about him?
Yeah, I saw that bullshit.
He said the same thing I said. LeBron, LeBron's sweet, but it's like it's certain shit I just don't get, man. Like it's times where he don't be putting his foot on the gas where Kobe and them would have went. You know what I'm saying? Like. Because he was talking about in that finals versus the Dallas when we was up. And then we let him come back. That shit fucks with me to this day. Nigga, you was good enough right there, nigga. Y'all ain't no way y'all should let them niggas do that to y'all. On everything. A nigga who wanted that bad would not have let that happen. I put like this, if I had the ability LeBron got, I would not let them beat me, nigga. On everything. He didn't try. Motherfuckers was looking at this shit. Motherfucker, you act like people don't see. Fuck did you talking about, nigga? You wasn't even trying. Say you was trying and you came short. You was pulling up, going hard to the basket every time, and the shit just wasn't going your way. All right, nigga, you wasn't even doing nothing. Fuck you talking about? That's the shit I'm talking about. That's why that nigga never be the greatest. Never.
Wow.
Never ever, nigga, because he did that shit too much. Like he was a dog. Like I said that last year in Cleveland. If he would have been that in motherfucking Dallas, them motherfuckers wouldn't have lost on everything. If he would have put that mode in when he had Golden State on the motherfucking rope that first time, they would have won that too. LeBron could have won that. That's how much I believe. You say I'm a hater. I believe in him enough to think he could have won that shit. I know he could have. He just didn't do it, nigga. That's so basically I might be a bigger LeBron fan than you, but I got higher expectations for LeBron, nigga. I know he be bullshit sometimes. He wouldn't like me, and I be keeping all the way a bean with him. He could do more than what he be doing.
So that whole Miami incident was his fault.
I mean,
they had chemistry issues too. They had chemistry issues too.
But the whole point is, you know the shit online. You ain't got no ring. You trying to be the greatest ever, and you got the potential to be the greatest ever. Why not try to get all you can out of it, nigga?
Whose team was?
It don't matter. You was gonna take it. That's the part you act like you don't fucking realize. If LeBron would have got the MVP, say he would have took that shit over and went for 40 bars all the way out. Nigga, you ain't gotta say nothing else. Everybody gonna say it for you. LeBron James MVP, he won that motherfucking shit. It's his team now.
He did everything you said. He did everything like what you said against Chicago. Nope, he did everything you said against Chicago.
Say you would have did it versus say you would have closed it out with that. Motherfuckers would have been on first take saying, you know what? Shit, I think it's LeBron's team now.
I don't know about that because
they would have been. How the fuck you gonna?
I don't know about that.
Saying what? Is he outplayed Dwayne Wade and got the motherfucking Finals MVP, and then like you said, then got him out of Chicago on top of that? Believe it's gonna be a topic. Skip probably would have been saying no. but somebody go there fight for him. But Skip will always be, you know what I'm saying? He gonna always do that. That's just
because he called LeBron Robin when they played the Pacers. Said he scored 40 fucking points. Okay, he scored 40 fucking points, and he called.
I mean,
he still said that D Wade was the Batman of that team.
Skip just be on some bullshit sometimes. But like I said, if he would have won that motherfucker and got the MVP, that team, because Dwayne Wade said he came to him that summer, he was gonna come to him that summer either way. If he would have went for 40 balls and Dwayne Wade would have had like 15, 18, they would have said, damn, LeBron went for 40 and Wade only had 18. Whose team is it? Now his fuck ass want to sit there. Oh, fuck it, man. I'm gonna let this one go. He could be going for his 5th ring right now. Really,
everybody wins a certain way. I keep trying to tell you, last year's team was better than this year's team. They would have won a championship this year, but Brian wanted to win a certain way.
I don't believe he could have won with that team.
I do. I don't believe none of those teams. Denver can't beat them. Denver couldn't beat the Pelicans. They couldn't beat the Pelicans. So how the fuck they gonna beat the Lakers with that team? How the fuck they gonna beat them?
But like this, they wouldn't have got out alive with that motherfucking team.
Yeah, they would have. They would have got out alive. They would have got out alive. They would have whooped it. They would have 5 games.
They would have lost in 7.
No, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have lost. It wouldn't have been no 7. Yeah, right. Okay, LeBron ain't losing to that. Ain't losing. Not going to the finals. He's not losing that. If they're in that situation, which they would have been, because they would have beaten Portland and they would have beaten Houston and they would have went to Denver and they would have beat them. Okay, bottom line. Okay, Jamal Murray ain't scoring like that. Okay, you're not putting up those numbers like that. Okay, they're a better team. No matter how you look at it, they still would have won. They still would have won it this year. But Brown wanted to win a certain way. Bottom line, he wanted AD. He wanted AD, which is a clutch sport guy. He was a clutch sport guy,
which is a top 5 player in the NBA.
I'm sitting there double shit.
Which is a top 5 player in the NBA. That's what he went and got.
Okay, but at the end of the day, he's still a clutch sport guy. No matter what, LeBron wanted clutch sports on his team. Okay, that's what he wanted. Okay, if those guys were clutch sports, they would still be there, but they're not. Okay, but that's another argument for another day. Okay, but people want to win a certain way. Organizations want to win a certain way, and LeBron, who has an organizational mentality, he wants to win a certain way. Okay, you can agree that he has an organizational mentality, right? You can agree with that, right? Or you don't.
Like his own little entity himself, pretty much.
His team, as far as building teams, he's been building teams since his freshman year in high school. Okay, he's been doing that. He's been building teams since his freshman year in high school. St. Vincent St. Mary was a nothing school till he got there. They weren't the powerhouse of Akron. Okay, they were okay, but they weren't the school that everybody projected him to go to. Okay, so but he went there. Okay, he wants to win a certain way. And D Wade was bossing up, talking about this is still his team and everything else. I'm sorry, but that's it. If I get you out of Chicago, because D Wade's struggling. D Wade is struggling. Okay, in that series.
And D Wade was frustrated. That's all that was.
Okay, like I don't care.
And he was fighting. He knew what was happening. You feel me? See, he was fighting it. That's why he said it. Now I think about it. It just came to me. Like, this is my fucking team. He was trying to make himself believe that. Believe it or not. He seen what was happening. And that's why he went to LeBron afterwards and said, you know what? It's true. Think about it. If you've been the man, that's a hard transition to hand that over. Think of it after all the shit he just did for Miami. He handed that over. That's hard.
The best player in the league is coming to your. Okay, the best player, and so egos got in the way, right? So you can.
But LeBron was supposed to be the bigger man and say, you know, I'm about to win this motherfucker.
He was the bigger man. He was the bigger man. He gave D Wade the fucking ball. That's what he did. He gave D Wade the ball and said, "Here, nigga, this your team to handle business."
That's some whole shit.
No, it ain't. No, it's not. No, it's not. This is your team. Handle your business.
You're trying to prove a point.
Sometimes you got to prove a point, man. Something in order to move forward, man. Okay, because let's say LeBron would have done exactly what you said. The next year would have been the same fucking thing. Okay, it would have been D-Wade coming in there trying to say this is still my team. Okay, bottom line. Okay, I'm sorry. After Chicago
Finals MVP, it would have went for 40 balls. No, he would have had it over. He was gonna do the same thing.
No, he wasn't. Nobody learned. You learn more from a loss than you do from a win. Okay.
Well, you know what? I would have had to take the chance on that one.
I wouldn't.
My first one, and I was gonna get the Finals MVP, and then I would even have came at him about it. I would have waited to see how he played it. He still was gonna come to him like, you know what, Brian? That's right, man. You did good as fuck, man. You won MVP, man. This you, man. This your team. I'm handing this shit over to you. Believe you.
They would. Either way, in the first 2 years, they would have had one fucking ring.
No.
Yes, they would have. They'd have had one ring.
No.
They would have had one ring. That's all they would have had. Because somewhere down the road, that chemistry and that ego would have costed them something. It's better to cost them in the first year than in the second year. Because the third year, you don't know what's going to take place. I would have done that. I'm not going to fall Bron. D-Wade, the whole team came on short. Why didn't D-Wade show up at that point? If LeBron checked out, why didn't D-Wade show up at that point? I'm just curious. You the second best player on the team. You top two shooting guard in the league. You had Jason Kidd and Jason Terry guarding you. Why didn't you? Where was D-Wade at from 05? Where's that D-Wade from 05 at? I don't know where he was at. He was null and void at this point. Where's that guy at? Okay, if you want to blame LeBron for this, I understand that he takes some blame for this. But LeBron still led the team in scoring. For as bad as he played, he still led the team in scoring. So what does that say about D-Wade in that series? What does that say? If LeBron played so horrible that he still led the team in scoring in that finals, explain that to me. I don't get it.
LeBron still was on some whole shit. No matter what, D-Wade, he didn't step up to the plate. It's obvious. That's what I'm saying. That's why even more, LeBron would have went for 40 balls and closed the shit out. It was obvious who team it was. He just had to take it. No. He would have been taking it right there, but instead he want to play passive aggressive. Like that's like a subliminal. If you would go out there and win a game, you taking that shit from me, nigga. This is my MVP. This is my team. You ain't even gotta say that because everybody gonna say it for you. That's the whole point.
Easier said than done. Get away, billions of dollars. It's easy to say that. You just said it yourself. You just said yourself that it was hard for him to make that transition from being the man to not being the man. You just said that.
He was gonna have to do it, and he was doing it. We was watching him in front of our face. He was trying to tell himself, no, they would have won. And then once LeBron, think how would Dwayne Wade have felt when LeBron was holding the motherfucking MVP trophy up? That right there says everything without saying a word. LeBron up there. Oh, all right, man.
No, did that with Kobe and Shaq? I'll tell you what, Shaq. Kobe never held up a MVP in the finals when Shaq was there. Do you believe that if you brought Kobe in those early years, would Kobe have said that Shaq was a better player than me at that time?
But see, now I'm about to tell you exactly why. And I don't know how you gonna argue this, but the reason why Kobe said that, but it's two different things. Say that would have been LeBron versus Shaq holding the trophy. LeBron worked just as hard as Kobe. Shaq was not working. He didn't respect Shaq work ethic. Say Shaq would have been working just as much as Kobe, and Shaq would have been holding motherfuckers up. Hell yeah, Kobe would have said, "Yep, he that nigga." He didn't respect Shaq overall as an athlete. That was the problem. Kobe wanted you to be all in, just like him. So,
but at the end of the day, he still wasn't the better player on that team. He wasn't a better player on that Laker team.
Shaq.
Okay. No, Kobe. Kobe was not the better player at that time. When Shaq was winning those MVPs, he was not the better player. Okay. LeBron is the better player between him and D-Wade. Kobe was not the better player at that time. But
that's what I'm saying. D-Wade knew that, and it was gonna show. That's what I'm saying. That's a whole different situation.
No, LeBron, it's not. It's the same thing.
He see LeBron as that nigga. LeBron sitting there probably coming to practice before him, working harder than him, and then going out there and performing like that. scoring 40 when you might have 15. And he holding the MVP.
And then you still, and then you no, because he
you
showed that the whole season. He showed that the whole season. Was LeBron MVP that year?
Was he? I don't know. Was he? I don't know. I can tell you. But you about to look it up?
Come on, look it up.
Hold on, I'm about to take a piss.
Unfortunately, people have to learn how to love themselves. You don't matter even if you kill yourself. The same people that bullied you, they might say, good luck. They might say, glad they're gone. So the killing yourself is not the problem solver to people feeling compassion toward you. The problem is we have to teach young people how to feel compassion towards them. That's the only way to combat feeling hated or feeling unwanted, to say, you know what, I don't care if you like it. But again, you know, if images you're seeing are suicide, if you don't have a parent in the household, if you don't have anybody to give you encouraging words, then that is difficult. That's why we got to be careful about that stuff we put out. Sometimes I see somebody tell me the other day on Facebook that somebody got shot in the head 100 times. That shouldn't be on there. That is defensive. People go to the wars and stuff like that, see stuff, and have to have using therapy for the post-traumatic stress. Seeing images like that. We as human beings are related to each other. No matter what you want to think about it, we are human. So that means we all are interconnected in some way. When you see a movie and somebody gets stabbed, you're like, oh. When you see somebody in a car crash, whoa. That's because to some degree people feel it. So if you see online somebody getting shot in their head 100 times, that's not good. That's not good for you.
Regular life is PTSD and social media that know.
Bingo. Some of that stuff is too heavy. You know what I'm saying? And some of that stuff is, it's like you want to say it because you want that awareness to be wrong. But also it's desensitizing young people. Death is becoming
normalizing violence.
Normalizing violence.
It's easy, especially for these kids to find out in the city. Because I mean, my kids can see anything I can see. At one point, the only time you gonna see something like that is on the news. 5 o'clock. Now these kids can see anything, pull up anything.
It's like I love World Star, but man, World Star is one of the ones that triggered that the most. You know, them fights, them kids on the fight, see somebody the other day, somebody got choked out and boy on the ground. I'm just like, that hurts me. It really does hurt me. Every now and then, you don't want to be too dramatic because it's like when we was kids, everybody liked to see somebody fight, wow, but the stuff has gotten extremer. It ain't just somebody get knocked out, or it ain't just, everybody is doing stuff again. It's just a lot of this attention. You guys just said that too. A lot of stuff is out. Man, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to it wasn't a misunderstanding. I tell my truth, and I just thought it was real interesting that after all those things went down, someone else happened. Well, like I don't like when people think that somebody just gonna be put fire up, like I love and I'm not gonna try to ever tear nobody down. Try to tear no black man down. That's not who I am, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not what I stand for, that's not what I'm about. So if I say something, I'm saying something for a reason. And I feel like so many times black women say stuff, nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? Nobody gives a fuck when sometimes black women say something. But somebody of another complexion, somebody of another color, they say something. And then it's like, we're taking it to court.
Did he get the MVP that year?
Nope.
No. All right. I wonder why nobody talk about Wade saying this is my motherfucking team. That shit never came up. It's like
Well,
it never happened.
that shit happened. Okay, that happened. Okay,
But why nobody never talked about it?
I don't know why they haven't talked about it.
I wonder where the footage of that is.
It's out there. It's out there. There's footage out there. You said it right there with LeBron sitting down, saying that it was
the bench. It was like in a timeout, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm looking at this and I'm like, why would you say that at that moment, man? Why would you even say that, period? Especially after, look, when some people give you their all and they give you their all and they continue to give you their all, and then you boss up on them, eventually, you know what they do? They shut down. That's what they do. They don't say nothing. They're not going to argue with you. Okay. They just going quietly shut down. Okay. And that's what he did. You just said LeBron's a passive aggressive guy, right? That's what you said, right? Well, most passive aggressive guys in that situation, that's what they do. They shut down. And I'm sorry. And that situation right there, D Wade should have kept his mouth closed. Okay. He should have said that shit when the season was over and they got their ring. Okay. Say that shit in the off season. You don't say that shit in the playoffs. You don't say that shit at all, actually, period. Because it's not your team anymore. Okay, the best player in the world came to Miami to play with you. Okay, because there's no disputing who the best player in the world was at that time. That was him. Okay, and then you say to the best player in the world. Imagine Scottie Pippen saying that this is his team to Michael Jordan. I don't know how that would but I don't see that.
But see, the thing was at that time, Wade said you came to me, but he knew what it was. But like I said, he was just fighting it. But LeBron showed weakness by coming to him. But
no,
he look at what you said. It wasn't.
No. LeBron grew tired of waiting for the Cleveland Cavaliers to give him a team. He was tired of it, so he created his own destiny. That's why he went to Miami. Miami was the best place for him to go at that time. Okay, it was decent good management there, and you already had D Wade there, and all they needed was another player. He was tired of waiting for Cleveland to build his team, and that's why he went to Miami. Miami wasn't even in the playoffs the year before. I don't even know if they was in the playoffs. They did. They got put out the first round. Okay, so it wasn't KD going to a 73-9 team. It wasn't none of that going on. The Miami Heat was struggling. Miami Heat wouldn't have won no rings if LeBron didn't show up. They wouldn't have won nothing. D Wade wouldn't have won nothing. He just got that one in it for him. Okay, he wouldn't have won no more rings unless he'd went somewhere else. But overall, I'm not sitting there saying that LeBron showed weakness by going to D Wade. No, he shows strength actually leaving in the prime of his career. Most players don't leave in the prime of their career.
I mean, but he was the best player on the team, just like how people said that shit that Kevin Durant did was weak. That was more weak than what LeBron did.
Yeah, it was. Now, going to Floyd, talking about how he had more of a dog in him than LeBron, I'm going to have to disagree with him on that. I'm sorry.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I don't. I disagree with Floyd saying he had more dog in him than LeBron. That's actually false. Okay, totally false. And I'll give you a few reasons why it's totally false. Okay, Floyd, I'm gonna have to say this with Floyd. Let me preface this by saying this with Floyd. Floyd is an all-time great. Okay, that's no doubt about that. He's an all-time great. He's 50-0. Okay, he's never cheated the sport of boxing. Okay, Floyd has never came in overshape, out of shape, overweight. None of that situation. He never came in rusty. He's always in tip-top form. And for him to be in tip-top form with all the distractions that's in his way, that I give him credit for that. But I'm gonna have to honestly say that 50-0 is fraudulent. It's 50-0 is fraudulent, and it's big time fraudulent. Okay, one of the reasons why it's fraudulent is that he never really fought the best and beat the best when they're at their best. Okay, that's that. Okay, LeBron, he's always had to face his monsters in front of him. He had Golden State, he had Spurs. Okay, he couldn't run away from these teams. These teams were right in front of him. Okay, Floyd, he never fought the best, beat the best when they were at their best. Okay, you ran from Manny Pacquiao for 5 years. Okay, that's fact.
But
Okay.
he was talking about that. He said that he older than Manny Pacquiao. He said,
Who cares?
He said, motherfuckers talk about that because I watched the whole Shannon Sharp interview.
Okay, who cares if Manny Pacquiao was older than Floyd? That's irrelevant. Okay.
He said so ain't like that one of us was more older than. Well, he was 2 years older than Manny.
That makes it even worse. Actually, that's actually worse.
How's it worse? He's older than Manny, so Manny got less miles. Fuck you,
okay,
mean?
that doesn't matter. That has absolutely that doesn't matter right now at this point. Okay, I don't care if he was older than Manny. That doesn't matter. When Manny Pacquiao was knocking people out, beating people up, okay, Floyd ran from him for 5 years. Okay, he ran from him for 5 years. Okay, if you got that, like he said he would have fought Manny Pacquiao. I'm not saying that he would have lost to Pacquiao. He might would have won.
He thought Manny was on that juice.
Okay, I don't even want to. But Manny has never tested positive for it, and I'm sorry. You could have made it a way to where they said Manny Pacquiao gets tested before the fight and gets tested after the fight. Okay, you could have made it that way. Okay, for that money
I think he was trying to do that, but Manny wasn't on it or something.
No, he did it. He ended up doing it. He ended up getting tested before the fight and after the fight. Okay, let's cut it out. Okay, and I'm sorry. If with $200 million on the line back then, $200 million on the line, you mean to tell me you're not going to take a drug test for $200 million before the fight and after the fight? You're not going to do that? For $200 million? For $200 million, I'm going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm going to take that test before the fight and after the fight for $200 million. I'm sorry. That's what I'm going to do. He ran from Pacquiao, bottom line, for 5 years. There's other fighters that he could have fought. He could have fought Sugar Shane Mosley a little bit earlier. You know, he could have fought Sugar Shane at when Sugar Shane was 32 and he was 26. He could have fought him instead of fighting him when he was, damn near 40? Okay, Sugar Shane was damn near 40. Okay? I'm sorry. But Floyd was young. He was younger than him. Okay? He was like 30, 31 years old, man. He was old. He was young.
You said Sugar Shane was 40?
He was like 30, between 36 and 38. Okay, he could have fought him. He could have fought him earlier, but he didn't fight him. Okay, that was too much of a threat. A dog doesn't avoid these kind of fights. Okay, I can understand you don't fight every fight, but certain fights, the people that you fought were either too old or too young. He fought Canelo Alvarez when he was 22. Okay, he's seasoned. Canelo Alvarez was not seasoned enough to fight Floyd at that time. But Floyd took that fight. Okay, and he embarrassed. And I'm gonna tell you what's more embarrassing. He could have fought Triple G, right? He could have fought if he really had that dog, and he missed out on Triple G.
He said something like he was gonna fight Triple G, but something I forget what he said.
Yeah, it's an excuse. Whatever it is, it's an excuse. Okay, they could have met at 154. Okay, because Triple G, I think he fights at 160, but they could have met at 154. Okay, they could have fought that fight. Okay, they didn't want to
get heavy enough, baby. Well, it was something.
Yeah, it probably was the weight, but they could have met at 154. I mean, if you a dog, though, if you that dog that you say you are, okay. Floyd has never put his undefeated record really on the line. Okay, he never put his record on the line. And it was more embarrassing was that he fought Conor McGregor. Okay, you sit there and that's embarrassing to boxing, man. Okay, it's embarrassing. Huh?
That was his 50.
I don't know if it's 50 I don't even know if they counted that as a win for him. I'm not sure if they even counted it as a win. But the fact of the matter is that you fought Conor McGregor for a fight, a boxing match.
Maybe do it again, talking about $300 million.
Okay,
who the fuck gonna pay that shit again?
Okay, but it's embarrassing to even do that. to even sit there and do a fight like that. A dog doesn't do that. Muhammad Ali wouldn't have done that. Okay, he wouldn't have done that shit. Okay. The great fighters of the past, the Sugar Ray Robinsons, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Marvin Haglers, these guys laid it on the line. I'm still hearing that double stuff.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so he's never really, Floyd has never really laid, his ass on the line. I get the fact. I know why he does it. Okay, he doesn't want to end up like his daddy. He don't want to end up like
punch drunk.
Yeah, he don't want to be punch drunk. I'm still hearing that stuff. Okay, so I understand why he didn't give all those fights. Okay, because he didn't want to run the risk of being punch drunk, like you said. Okay, so therefore I'm going to give him a pass. But however, that takes away from your legacy. Okay, that takes away from your legacy. Okay, you never really put it on the line like Ali. Ali, when he fought Joe Frazier for the third time, which is crazy. When he fought him for the third time, he fought him in the Philippines. Okay, fought him in the Philippines in 120-degree weather. Okay, it was 120 degrees in that gymnasium. Okay, and he went 15 rounds. And if you watch that fight, that's probably one of the most brutal fights in boxing history. Okay, that fight, and that was in 120-degree weather. Floyd, he's fighting at the MGM, 72-degree weather. Everything's all comfortable in his backyard, and all he got to do is drive 15 minutes from his house to the casino to go get a fight and collect $200 million. I'm sorry, that to me, that's not landing on the line to me. I'm sorry, it's just not. Okay, Floyd he shouldn't even compare himself to LeBron, for real. As far as being a dog is concerned. Now, as far as being a moneymaker, I can't argue with him. He gets to the money. I give Floyd his credit on that. He lives up to Money Mayweather. Okay, he lives up to that name. But Money Mayweather, he ain't got no dog. And even the fights that he win, are they not some of the most boring fights that you could watch? For real though?
That's true. Okay,
there's some of the most boring fights. Okay, yeah, he wins by points. He wins on decision. Okay, but do you really? A person can fight Floyd and go to the club. He go to the club and drop some bands on the floor at the end of the fight. A person can do that. Okay, so that dog, I'm not going with that, man. I'm not going with Floyd on that. Floyd is totally mistaken when it comes to saying that he was more of a dog than LeBron. LeBron, he faces his toughest opponents. Okay, he's done that. He couldn't run from Steph and Clay and KD and all them dudes. He had to face those guys. He couldn't run from those guys for 5 years. Okay, like he did with Manny. Okay, he could have fought Sergio Martinez. He could have fought him. Okay, he didn't fight. He didn't want to deal with that war. That'd have been a war, going in there fighting a guy like that. Floyd, no. 50-0, fraudulent. Okay, very fraudulent. You fought him too old or fought him too young. Bottom line. What's your point? What's your analysis on this shit? I'm sure you're gonna go with Floyd on this.
Well, as far as on LeBron tip,
yeah. Who you think more of a dog? Floyd or LeBron?
More of a dog, Floyd or LeBron?
Yeah, in their profession.
I might have to give it to Floyd because he's undefeated. No matter how you want to talk about, he fought this one when it was out of his prime or whatever. He still had to go there and do that work. And he could have got dropped. Like they was asking about Deontay Wilder. He was like, can you make Deontay Wilder a boxer? Because he said he liked Fury. He said he got that equalizer. He said that one punch is an equalizer, nigga. I told you that right hand, nigga. He said he could work with. He said he can build him up. But that right hand is that equalizer, nigga.
He only saying that because he with Al Heyman. I don't trust that shit at all.
He said he with us. He did say that.
Okay, yeah, he with Al Heyman. That ain't got nothing to do with it.
He said he liked Fury. He said he liked Fury.
That don't mean
He
nothing.
said, he said, but Shannon was like, "Can you make him a boxer?" He said, "If you want to work with me, he said I can get him together." He said, I'm available if you want.
Okay, but he only saying that because he with Al Heyman. Okay, if he wasn't with Al Heyman, you would get a different answer out of Floyd with that. He's not gonna mess up the money. Okay, so I'm not going with that.
But yeah, I think Floyd is more of a dog than LeBron. He undefeated.
He never had to go get it. He never had to beat nobody. Had to dig down deep and get it. Okay, so give me your fight. Okay, if what you're saying is true, give me your fight that proves that Floyd is that dog, is that true champion. You know, because every fighter has that fight. Every fighter is baptized.
Yeah, I don't know all this fights like that. You know,
okay, because there aren't any. I can just tell you that right now. There aren't any. There aren't any fights. There aren't any fights that Floyd had to dig deep on and get this win. You know,
Sugar Shane almost dropped.
No.
He pieced himself together.
He's 37, 38 years old, man.
He almost dropped.
No, I'm talking about a fighter that's at his best. You know, like Ali had to go to Africa and beat George Foreman when people said that it was suicide. They said it was suicide.
And Ali wasn't even on Floyd Mayweather top 5 boxers.
Okay, he on drugs for saying that. But I'm saying at the end of the day, George Foreman, they said George Foreman was gonna kill him. Those were the work. That's what everybody was saying. George Foreman was gonna kill Ali. Okay, that's what it was back then, because he had knocked Joe Frazier down like 6 times in one fight. He knocked him down 6 times. Joe Frazier. Okay, I don't think Joe Frazier ever got knocked down at that point in his career. Okay, he got knocked down.
The Ali fight Ken Norton 3 times or some shit like that.
Yeah.
He said Floyd Mayweather said Ken Norton beat him all 3 times. He was robbed. I don't know. I never seen them. Did you ever see them fights?
I probably did not watch those fights like that. But Floyd shouldn't even critique Ali's record. I don't care if he did lose. I don't care if Ken Norton won those fights. I really don't care, because at the end of the day, Ali had already been through wars. He had already been through Foreman. He had been through Frazier. He had been through these guys, man.
So he was older at the time?
Yeah, I think so, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, he had been through wars. Okay, he had beat Sonny Liston when he made Sonny Liston quit. Okay, he made Sonny Liston quit. Okay, that's how good he was. And Sonny Liston was like Mike Tyson back then. Okay, he was knocking motherfuckers out. Okay, left and right. Sonny Liston wasn't getting knocked down. He wasn't getting beat up like that. He was whooping everybody. And Ali was beating Ali took you to school. Okay, he shouldn't even say anything to Ali. Ali fought wars in them rings. 15 rounds on top of that. And I know 12 that he fight. He fighting 15 rounds. And fighting 15 rounds in different countries. Do you know how hard that is to fight in different countries? Third world country, the Philippines. Man, I don't want to fight in the Philippines. You think you want to fight in the Philippines? That's not no place to go. That ain't no place to be at fighting no Joe Frazier. I would be fighting no Joe Frazier in the Philippines, 120-degree weather. I'm sorry. No. Okay. He's not better than Sugar Ray Robinson, too. Okay. At one point,
he wasn't in his top 5 either.
Okay. Sugar Ray Robinson was 125-1 at one point in his career. He fought 126 fights and lost 1 time. Okay. That's better than 0. Okay. That's better than 50-0. I don't give a fuck what you say. You win 125 fights and only lose 1 time. Okay. At one point in your career. Okay. You a monster.
Right.
Okay. You a monster. That's better than 50-0. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That's better. He ain't better than Chavez Sr. Chavez Sr. won 80 straight fights. Okay, he won 80 straight fights, and was beating the best, fought the best, beat the best when they were at their best. Okay, Chavez Sr. did that, and he won 80 straight fights. Okay, and whooping these people too. These people were getting whooped. Okay, he was an old man before he started losing. Okay, Floyd, he ain't better than Roy Jones Jr. Okay, he's not better than Roy Jones Jr. Skill for skill, I'm taking Roy. Okay, he's not better than Roy.
Roy was an animal.
Okay, he's not better than Roy Jones Jr. Okay, he's not better than Roy at all. I'm taking Roy all day. Roy got more speed, got more power. Defense is probably the same.
But Roy is a light heavyweight versus a welterweight.
I'm talking I'm talking pound for pound. Okay, I'm talking pound for pound. When you mention great fighter, no matter what weight class, pound for pound, Floyd is not there. I'm not putting him there. 50-0 is fraudulent. If he were to beat Pacquiao, when everybody called for Pacquiao, then I would say Floyd the man. He beat the best. He fought the best, beat the best when they were at their best. If he'd have beat Pacquiao at that point, then I wouldn't be saying none of this shit. Okay,
You gonna let one fight make your mind up like that?
Yeah, because that fight was a necessary fight. He needed that fight actually for his legacy. I've always said that he needed that fight. Okay, there's always going to be that fight that you got to have under your belt to say he's got Pacquiao under his belt, but even he said that even he apologized for his performance against Pacquiao. You know, even he apologized for that. Okay, so he didn't. So at that point, I mean, I don't even count that fight at this point when he himself apologized for his performance in that fight. Okay, that's why he said he went for the knockout against Conor McGregor because of his performance against Pacquiao, which makes no sense. But
I gotta no, it don't. I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that fight.
What?
Over that Pacquiao fight over.
Okay,
I didn't really see it that good. That motherfucker was fucking up.
Yeah, but I mean, pound for pound, Floyd is not there. He's not better than George Foreman. He's not better than Muhammad Ali, of course. He's not better than Sugar Ray Robinson. He's not better than Floyd Mayweather. He's taking Chavez Sr., Julio Cesar Chavez over him. Who else am I taking over? I'm taking Sugar Ray Leonard over him. I'm taking Marvin Hagler over him. I say George Foreman. Yeah. Those are the main ones that I would take over Floyd Mayweather right now. Okay, at this point, pound for pound. Pound for pound boxing.
You might got Floyd. I think you got Floyd fucked up a little bit.
All those guys I named have been baptized under fire. All of them. All those guys I've named have been baptized under fire.
So basically, Floyd went 50-0 on all easy fights.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Go give me a signature fight. I would ask him that. I would say, who's your signature fight, bro? I mean, you sit there and talk about. De La Hoya was 37 years old, man.
How old was Floyd?
Floyd was young. Floyd was in his prime. Okay? He fought him old. He fought everybody too old or too young. Okay? I would ask Floyd, who is your signature fight? What is that? What is that like? Ali was Foreman. Okay, Ali was Foreman. Sugar Ray Leonard was Marvin Hagler.
Who was Mike Tyson's signature fight?
Mike Tyson don't have no signature fight. That's why I didn't put him on this list. I didn't put Mike Tyson. He's the most. I think he's skilled. He's up there as far as skills, but he don't have a signature fight. Okay, he don't have it. He don't have that signature fight that he dug deep on and pulled that bitch out. He don't have that fight. Okay. He's still a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. Mike Tyson is still great, but he don't have that signature fight. Okay, every great fighter has a signature fight that where they had to dig deep on. Sugar Ray Leonard's was Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns took him, baptized him under fire. He was losing that fight. He had to knock him out in the 14th round. That shit, if he didn't get a knockout, that would have been a loss. It'd have been a straight loss for him. Okay, he lost that fight. He would have lost that fight. Sugar Ray Leonard had to dig deep and get that fight. I mean, shit, he kind of had to dig deep to beat Mayweather Sr. That wasn't no easy fight. He knocked him out, but that wasn't no easy fight either.
You saw that fight?
I watched it. That fight wasn't easy. Mayweather Sr. was giving him some lightweight wreck, but Sugar Ray Leonard ended up taking him down. But that was a tough fight.
How many rounds did they go?
I think he went like nine rounds.
Damn.
I think that's what it went.
Mayweather Sr. never made no money in the business like that.
He never made it to the top like that.
If you fight Sugar Ray Leonard, what you was just supposed to be a bum they was putting in front of him or something?
No, he wasn't that. He's kind of like Robert Easter. He's a good fighter, but he's not like the champ. You know what I'm saying? He's a good fighter, but he ain't. He's like the guy you fight before you fight the champion. You know what I'm saying? It's like remember in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, he fought what's that one dude before Mike Tyson? I forget his name.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like that fight. It was like that's who Mayweather Senior was. He was the stepping stone to the upper echelon of boxers.
So he could never get over that hump.
Nope, he couldn't get over that hump. So, but he still was a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? He still was a good fighter. But he was like the second tier fighter in that weight class. He wasn't. I don't think he was ever champion. But he had potential to be champion. But when he went up against the good fighters, he ended up losing. But he wasn't a bad fighter though. But that's kind of like all the fighters that Floyd has kind of fought, man. I mean, like Maidana was a joke, to be honest with you. Him fighting Maidana
was a hitter, nigga.
You should have never given him a rematch.
He was a hitter.
How do you give him a rematch but don't give Manny a rematch? How do you?
And
you know
what? You know, when he fought Maidana, he was walking up with him. That was one of his more entertaining fights.
Okay, that was all design.
He like when he went toe. What you mean design? He went toe to toe with Maidana.
No, he designed to do that because he was running from Pacquiao.
That was a hitter.
No, that was designed. He designed it that way.
Maidana is a hitter.
Okay, Maidana might be a hitter, but defensively, he's not gonna hit Floyd, and Floyd knew it. He knew he wasn't gonna be able to hit him. Okay, you can hit Adrian Broner. You can't hit Floyd. You can't get Floyd with clean shots.
I think he took a couple of shots. He took a couple of shots from Maidana, but
yeah,
you might be right. He might be leading his defense enough that he can duck them bombs.
Okay,
fuckers is bombs.
Okay, but Maidana he did that on purpose.
Them fights was slept on. Them was good fights. Floyd, there was more entertaining fights from Floyd.
Okay, but that was
never talk about them.
Okay,
he walked up. He was toe to toe in them fights.
He didn't know. Floyd, at that time, he needed fights. He was under contract with Showtime, and he needed fights. So in between this contract, you know, he's in him to avoid Pacquiao, he's got to have a tough fight with somebody else, so he could validate a rematch for this fight. Okay, he quickly gave Maidana a rematch. Floyd doesn't give rematches, as you can tell, right? You know that, right? He doesn't give rematches, but he gave Maidana. That was one of the few. I don't know if he's ever fought a person twice. Okay, he gave Maidana a rematch quickly too. They fought back to back. Okay, Floyd don't do that, and I'm telling you right now, the main reason why he did that was to avoid Pacquiao. He felt that he could make just as much money fighting Maidana at that time, and stay away from Manny. He didn't want Manny Pacquiao. He was forced to take Manny Pacquiao. He didn't want him when he fought him. He didn't want him then. But they didn't make no money on the second Maidana fight. See, the second Maidana fight did not live up to expectations when it came to the purse. They had money problems. Okay, and he was forced to fight that fight. Okay, he had to fight Pacquiao at that point to get the money right. Okay, he didn't want you to probably held Pacquiao out for longer than what he did. Floyd, he ran from him 5 years. He ran from Pacquiao for 5 years, and would have been more if they hadn't lost money on that second Maidana fight. Okay, but then, like I said, as a dog, you ain't fighting no motherfucking Conor McGregor, bro. I'm sorry. There's so many fighters. I could see if he had whooped everybody. Let's say he had whooped everybody. Let's say he whooped Errol Spence. Let's say he whooped Triple G. Let's say he whooped some of the. I ain't saying all these fighters, but some of these fighters. Let's say
if he would have beat Errol Spence, he was too young.
No, I'm saying let's say Triple G. Let's just say he beat Triple G. Triple G was in his prime. Let's say he fought Triple G, fought Pacquiao. Okay, he fought Pacquiao, and he went to Triple G or Sean Porter, Showtime Porter. He could have fought him. Okay, right? Because Adrian Broner was fighting him. Right? Okay, because at the end of the day, he could have fought Showtime Porter. He could have fought some of these guys. He could have fought. Okay, I'm not saying he should have fought them all. Okay, I'm not saying, even though back in the day, in the 80s and the 90s and the 60s and the 70s, those fights would have happened. Floyd Mayweather would have fought all those fights I just named you right there. Those fights would have been fought. But let's just say, for instance, he fought some of those fighters. Then it's a little more acceptable to do a fight like Conor McGregor. But he left so many fights on the table to the point that, you know, I don't know if this 50-0 is real. This 50-0 ain't real. I'm sorry. You didn't lay it on the line. You don't have a signature win. I would ask Floyd, what is your signature win? Give me your Joe Frazier right now. I want to know who your Joe Frazier is right now. If you said you talk about Ali got robbed Ken Norton Jr., please give me your Joe Frazier or your George Foreman. Give me that right now. I will ask him that, and he won't have an answer for it. He'll give some sorry ass name. It won't be he don't have a Joe Frazier on his list. He don't have.
Diego Corrales. One Corrales pretty decent.
He's not a Joe Frazier, bro. He's not on the level of Joe Frazier. No, he's a good fighter, but he ain't on the level of Joe Frazier. Give me your George Foreman. Give me that fighter where they said Floyd about to lose this, man. I don't think Floyd gonna have this fight. He gonna lose this, and he pulls that win out like Ali did with Foreman. Everybody thought Ali was committing suicide when he fought George Foreman. That's what the word was. The word was Ali was committing suicide fighting this guy. Okay, and if you watch those Joe Frazier fights, if you watch those fights thoroughly, Joe Frazier was taking him to a very dark water. Okay, he was taking him there. Okay, give me your Joe Frazier right now, where you got to really pull this shit out. You got to dig deep and pull this motherfucker out. Give me your Joe Frazier right now. He won't have it. He won't have it on his resume. Doesn't have it. Not one fighter does he have on his 50-0 record is the level of that. Not one. Give me that, and he won't have it. He will not have that shit at all. Okay, he got the names. But if you dig real deep and you look at the tail of the tape, they're like, man, these motherfuckers is old. These niggas is old as fuck, and Floyd was in his prime. That's what they're gonna say in the end. 10 years from now, when some other new boxer comes around and he's kicking ass, ain't nobody gonna remember Floyd Mayweather's name. Nobody ain't gonna put up his name, and I can prove that. I can prove that with 2 words: Rocky Marciano. Okay, Muhammad Ali was known as the greatest boxer of all time. Nobody mentions Rocky Marciano. He retired 49-0. Nobody talks about the greatness of Rocky Marciano. Okay, they don't talk about that at all. Okay, they just totally bypass him and go straight to Ali. Okay, that's fact. Okay, 10 years from now, ain't nobody gonna remember Floyd's name. Now, no boxer, they'll remember as Money Mayweather, as a guy who was a person who knew how to get to the money. Okay, I give him his credit on that. He gets to the money. Okay, but as far as the legacy is concerned, down the list, bro. Down the list. He's down the list on legacy. Moneymaker, he's number 1. He's definitely number 1 on that list. He's not better. I'll tell you, he's number 2. Tyson is number 1. Okay, Tyson is the number 1 purse getter in boxing history. Tyson, no, he's 3. Tyson is Ali, Tyson, then Floyd. Those are the top 3 guys who get a big bag in boxing, generate a lot of money. Tyson, Ali.
Mayweather first. He had the biggest fights.
I don't care. Tyson right now would sell out right now. Okay, if they sat there and said, "Hey, Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. at the MGM," you know how many tickets would sell in that shit? How much you think that shit would be on TV right now? Tell me, I don't know how much.
He could charge $1 per pay-per-view.
Yeah, easy, no doubt about it. Tyson would generate that money. I say Tyson was more electric. I would say let's play like this. If I had to choose between a Mike Tyson fight and a Floyd Mayweather fight, I'm choosing Tyson, and I ain't looking back. I'm not looking back at all.
You never know what's gonna happen with a Tyson fight.
No, it's not. No, it's not even the fight. It's the electricity in that fight. Just Mike Tyson walking down that aisle, going into the ring, bringing that electricity right there. That's more exciting than Floyd's fights. Mike Tyson walking into that ring with no robe on, or nothing but some black shorts and some black shoes and his gloves on, and he walking down that motherfucking aisle, and the chains is clanking. Nigga, that's more exciting than any of Floyd's fights. Okay, just that alone. We ain't talking about the fight. We just talking about Mike Tyson coming out of this room.
Tyson used to wear a cut-off tie around his neck, nigga. with the freight. He used to cut a hole in the middle of the tile and have that bitch. That's what Tyson. That was his role, nigga. You don't remember that?
Yeah, I
You
remember
ain't
that.
enough, nigga. With the cut
No,
on
he done
tile.
came out of there. He done came out of there with no towel on. He done came out of there with no towel on.
Oh,
You done came out of there with that. You just came out of there with no robe, no nothing. Okay, that alone is more exciting than any of Floyd's. Like Tyson's above Floyd as far as generating money. Okay, if Tyson was fighting today, okay, let's say he fought in the Mayweather era. Man, them fights. Mike Tyson was doing pay-per-view and he didn't even have a belt, man. He had no belt. Now, there's no fighter other than Floyd right now that you can bring pay-per-view that doesn't have a belt. I'm see it. I don't know any fighter that can do that. He had pay-per-view fights when he didn't have no belt. When he lost Holyfield, he never fought on regular TV. After when he lost to Holyfield, most fighters is fighting on ESPN or maybe Showtime or something. Mike Tyson was pay-per-view, and people were buying it. White folks couldn't get enough of it. White Wall Street guys, man, they was in love with Mike Tyson. They'd pay any kind of money to see Mike Tyson. They paid now. Okay, the big thing was going to the Tyson fight. They didn't give a shit that it lasted a minute and 30 seconds. They didn't care. They was still gonna pay that top-notch money. You knew you going 12 rounds with Floyd. You know it's gonna be a 12-round boring ass fight, and people they knew Mike Tyson was gonna be 1 minute, maybe a round, maybe 3 rounds at best, and they paying top-notch money for that. Okay, Tyson and Ali is kind of they neck and neck as far as money, generating money. They kind of neck and neck. I'm gonna have to give that one. I'm gonna have to say Ali is number one. I'm gonna say for the simple fact that people really loved him and people really hated him, you know, and that generates money too. Okay, they hated Ali, you know, they hated him. You know, there's a lot of people that hated him when he was boxing. They wanted to see him lose bad. They wanted to see him get knocked out big time. And that generated money. Not to mention all the flamboyance of Ali too. Yeah, Ali's above Floyd. If Ali was fighting today, man, he getting probably 300 million a fight right now. Honestly, Ali would probably get 300 million a fight. Okay. I would say that. Yeah, he would. He would do that. If they paying $200 million to see Floyd, man, Ali getting 200 million a fight, man.
He's talking about 300 to fight Conor.
Okay, and that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing to boxing.
I don't see why people would. What, he gonna be charged 100 for that pay-per-view?
That shit ain't nobody about to buy that.
No.
Okay, ain't nobody about to buy that. They
bought it unless he been gone so long. People just want to see Floyd again. It's possible. Some fucking cockheads. I don't think it's gonna be a super seller or I don't know. It's gonna get bought though. Say it came on right now in the next 3-4 months. People will buy it because they ain't really seen nothing like that.
Conor washed up though. Conor ain't been doing nothing. I can see if Conor was boxing still, but Conor
he really ain't did shit since that last fight, have he?
No.
That was a big bag he got.
Yeah, but he went back to UFC and he lost a couple times.
He did like 2 fights. Yeah.
And then he ain't been doing nothing. I don't see it. Let's play like this. For Floyd to compare himself to Ali, let me tell you something. Muhammad Ali would have never disrespected the sport of boxing by fighting Conor McGregor. That would have never happened with him. Okay, he would rather retire than to do that. That would have been an exhibition or some shit like that, because he's fought in exhibitions before. Okay, but that would have been on some clown shit. That wouldn't even have been no real fight. That'd have been on some take me out to the ball game type fight. That's what that shit would have been. That wouldn't have been no fight. Okay, Ali would have disrespected the sport of boxing, especially if he ain't fought everybody. If he hadn't fought Joe Frazier and all these other fighters that was out there, he wouldn't have fought no Conor McGregor for no payday like that. That's disrespectful to the sport. So I'm cutting Floyd off as far as saying that he got more of a dog than LeBron. I'm sorry. LeBron didn't have. This is his easiest run to the finals. Now he's in year 17 with this shit. Okay, with the easiest run to the finals of his career. And I'm not saying I'm not holding that against LeBron on that, because every superstar that's won rings then had easy roads to the ring. Okay. Kobe had easy runs to the ring. Shaq had them. Michael Jordan had them. They all had one easy ring in their career. Okay, they've all had that. Okay, so I'm not holding that against LeBron. If he win this motherfucker, hey, he won this bit. I count this as a fourth ring for him. But it's crazy that he goes into year 17 and he finally gets his first easy ring. Okay,
hey, what better time to get it?
Okay, I ain't knocking it. I'm not knocking it at all. Okay, I ain't knocking it at all. But he goes 17 years though. 17 years. That's a long time. That's a long time to finally get something easy. That's really a long time. Okay, he couldn't run from Steph Curry. He couldn't run from KD and Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Kawhi Leonard. Man, he couldn't run from these people, man. He got to deal with these people. Floyd out here running from these people, completely running. He could have fought all these players. He could have fought Sugar Shane early. He could have fought Triple G. He could have fought Sergio Martinez. He didn't want none of them fights. And then too, why you give Maidana a rematch but not Manny? How you got a killer instinct and you don't give Manny a rematch? How you got more of a killer instinct than LeBron James and you don't even think to give Manny Pacquiao a rematch? I don't get that. How is that possible?
Man, well, hey, he how many times did he fight after Manny Pacquiao? Maybe twice.
Who?
That was damn near coming Floyd. That was damn near the end.
You could have given Manny a rematch. Gave Maidana a rematch.
Did Manny want a rematch?
Manny would have taken a rematch if it was there. If the money was there, he would have taken. He fought Marquez 4 times. Okay. Yeah. Okay, he fought Marquez 4 times.
And got his ass scratched out, nigga.
Look, you gonna lose one of them fights. You fight somebody 4 times.
Then that was a bad loss, and that boy was scratched. That nigga was led. That's what Floyd said. He ready. He nice and right.
Okay.
He got laid down.
That was weak. That was weak. So you fight a guy when he's down. You fight a guy when he gets knocked down. You think Manny's gonna tilt.
Was that his next fight?
Huh?
I don't know. Did Floyd get him right after that? I don't know about that.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Honestly, I thought that was after, or was that before? That might have been.
That was before. That was before. But I don't know how many fights before it was though. That nigga was scratched. This was another smoker from Doug. Let me get some ice cream. Boom. What was you looking up?
Manny fought like 3 fights before he fought. He lost to Marquez, and then he fought 3 more times before he fought Floyd.
Damn.
Manny was working. I see why he lost to Marquez looking at this shit. He should, what's his McCall shouldn't have did this. He fought Marquez twice in a year.
Damn.
He shouldn't have fought him like that. He gave him
Well, that was his second time in 1 year?
Yep. He lost that fight.
Damn.
And he lost that fight. And he fought Timothy Bradley in between this. So he went from Marquez. He fought Sugar Shane Mosley. Then he fought Marquez. Then he fought Timothy Bradley. Then he fought Marquez again. All this within a 1.5 year span.
He was banging.
Okay. Out of this shit, he got robbed in that Timothy Bradley fight. I watched that fight. He got robbed in that fight. They robbed him in that fight, and they gave that shit to Timothy Bradley. They straight up robbed him on that fight. And then he fought Marquez. He fought Marquez right after that. He fought Timothy Bradley in June, and then he turned around and fought Marquez in December. So he fought every 6 months at this point.
These niggas don't even be banging like that nowadays.
Okay, now let's look at Floyd. Let's look at Floyd in 2011. He'd probably fight once a year.
Twice. Probably twice. May and September, October.
Yeah. Hold on. He didn't fight at all. He fought Victor Ortiz and Miguel Cotto. The same time, around the same time that Manny was fighting all them damn fights.
Damn.
He fought Victor Ortiz in September. Then he turned around in May and fought Miguel Cotto. Floyd wasn't even working at this time. This is when he was Money Mayweather.
So he must have already ran the bag up by then.
Yep. He was trying to fight once a year. Because he fought once.
He always fought twice a year.
Nope. 2009, he fought once. In 2009, he fought in 2008. I think that's when he's somewhat semi-retired. But when he came back, when he came back after that little semi-retirement, that's when he became Money Mayweather. And so he started fighting once a year. He fought once in 2009, fought once in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. He fought twice in 2013.
He took no punishment at all.
Nope. Then he fought Maidana twice. He fought him in May and then turned around and fought him in September.
He was doing man Septembers after that. Believe it's going to be double ups from there.
Say what?
I know he got a couple years where he was doing the man Septembers.
Yep. Then he fought Manny Pacquiao in May. So he went from September all the way to May to fight Pacquiao. So he took like, what's that? 6 months, 7 months? That's like 8 months. He took 8 months off to fight Manny Pacquiao after he fought Maidana. And then he fought Pacquiao. Then he turned around and fought Berto. Okay, they did count that Conor McGregor fight as 50-0. That's actually a shame. That's actually shameful. Actually, that's actually shameful. That's a disgrace. Okay, that's a disgrace. Actually, to boxing, right there to do that. He's not no more of a dog than LeBron. I'm sorry, no. In their profession, absolutely not. That's like LeBron winning a fucking ring against the Charlotte Hornets, man. That's what that is. Okay? Yeah, it is. Conor McGregor's never fought a boxing match in his life.
Yeah.
Okay? He never fought. His fights his UFC fights only last 3 rounds, man. 3-4 rounds or something like that. I think that's
why would they even let that count in the books?
Because it was money. A lot of money was at stake. Okay? A lot of money was at stake.
They should have considered that like an exhibition more.
Yeah, should have. They should have.
Why did they let that? That's what I'm saying. Why did they let that count on this record?
I don't know why they let that count on this record. I don't know why they did. But bottom
He should
line
have
is,
a bang. He should have had a bang with a real boxer for that 50. That 50 is tainted.
now that's why I said 50-0 is fraudulent to me. It's fraudulent. I don't care what nobody say. It's fraud. I
No, I'm
can't
just
put
saying that last fight.
yeah, but that's what gives him the record as being having the most wins, being undefeated. Is that Conor McGregor fight being 50-0?
Yeah, that was some whole shit right there.
Okay, I'm sorry. You lose. Your legacy is to me. I'm not saying that it's poor, but it ain't all time great though. I can't put you up. I can't put you up there with the rest of those fighters out of this name. I can't put him there. Absolutely not. Money now, as far as being a money maker, being a draw. Okay, he got that. He top 3 all day. He top 3.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I give him that. I separate Floyd Mayweather from Money Mayweather. That's what you have to do. You got to separate Money Mayweather from Floyd Mayweather. Now I'm critiquing Floyd Mayweather. Money Mayweather, he good. I understand why Money Mayweather does what he does. I get that part. Okay. Okay. I get why he did what he did. Okay. He saw his uncle and he saw his daddy and he saw the things that they got to go through every day. He don't want to be like that. I get that. I totally understand. Okay, but when you talk about legacy, no, I can't
And,
go.
and he still checked the humongous bag while doing it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not knocking him on the money tip. Money tip, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, bro. I understand, but it takes away.
He talking about he building Tank up, nigga.
Well, I mean, I hope that goes down. Tank a good fighter. I don't know if he. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical.
He talking about Tank about to be fighting on pay-per-view.
Well, I mean, against who?
I don't know.
Okay, I mean, I got wonder. I'm a little leery. I mean, is Tank gonna be another Floyd? Is he gonna be ducking fighters and shit? Is he gonna be running for these motherfuckers for 5 years and shit? I mean, what is this? I mean, I understand you trying to protect your health, but hey, fans want to see good fights, man. You want to pay all this money to see people fight. We want to see a good fight here. I don't want to see Tank Davis fight these old loose cannon fights and the big bag, and in the end, I'm still looking at whether or not he's a good fighter or not. I don't know. Is he going to Floyd Mayweather career as far as legacy is concerned, where it's tainted? Is he going to have one of these kind of careers? What is he going to have here?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure about Tank. Tank might like living the life. Maybe he hungry. Maybe he's turned over a new leaf. Maybe he's done that.
So you think Tank rather be a street thug than a boxer?
It ain't looking good. Let's put it like that. I don't know. He's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. Tank got skills. But I don't know if he got that. Does he have that dedication that a boxer needs to be great? Does he have that? Is he gonna do like Floyd? I give Floyd his credit. Floyd doing 3 a days in the gym. Is he willing to do 3 a days? That's hard to do as a boxer. Okay, that's hard to do.
A lot of niggas ain't doing 3 a days.
Okay, is he gonna do 3 a days? Is he willing to dedicate his life to boxing? That's what Floyd did. I give him his credit on that. He dedicated his life to boxing. Okay, is he gonna do that? Because that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take that. Okay, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it for him. He might like living the life too much. He might like riding in fancy cars and wearing all that iced out chains and being a star and everything. I don't know if Tank.
And beating this bitch up, snatch that bitch up by the throat.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't lose his career for that. For doing that. They just totally ignored that shit. I was like, wow. I thought Tank was about to go to jail for that. He did that shit all out in public and everything for everybody to see. And I'm like,
so imagine what he do behind closed doors.
Man.
I would hate to beat the shit out of a bitch before.
I would hate to see this guy with some real fucking money. You imagine him with $50 million? I couldn't imagine him with $50 million.
Yeah, he'd be out of control.
50 million.
He wouldn't have no work ethic. It'd be the end of Tank. That'd be it.
I don't know if
He'd
he
be
got that.
losing every fight from there on out. See, Floyd got a bag and still stay thirsty like he didn't have nothing.
Yeah,
It take a different type of nigga to be able to do that.
yeah, I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I agree with that. I give Floyd his credit on that, to do what he do and have all these
No, you
distractions.
got all the Rolls
Yep.
Royces, 20 bitches at your house, and
Yep.
you still out running. 3 of them more, you nigga like,
Yep.
motherfucker, this shit. But you know what he think? I gotta keep this shit, nigga.
Yeah,
I don't
That's
never want to live like that no more, nigga. That's what's getting him up every morning, nigga. Like shit. Motherfucker, I remember that bullshit.
Yeah.
Some niggas, but Tank had them same experience, but some niggas use it for fuel. Tank ain't looking at the shit right. He
Why
just
not?
want to get. I'm sure he getting high and everything else. TC Floyd didn't have no cloud in mind.
Yeah.
No drugs, nigga. No alcohol. He think it's straight.
Yeah.
Tank getting high, probably taking pills. Don't tell him what the fuck Tank doing.
Yeah. Yeah, this boy, I don't know.
And like you said, E Bunny, he hanging around in that city. That motherfucker, that's another thing. He ain't focused.
Well, it's hard to be focused and you don't know where your career going though. You know, it's kind of hard to stay focused and you don't know when the next time you're gonna fight. You know, and you know what I'm saying, and what the bag gonna look like. You know, what the bag gonna look like.
Should you be on point? If you would have beat Wolves, that dude, damn that one dude.
I know you're talking about Mikey Garcia. Yeah.
He'd have beat him, he'd have been on his way to a bag.
Yeah,
he
that's
fumbled
true.
the bag.
Well, hey, I wouldn't say he fumbled the bag on that. Mikey Garcia monster lightweight.
Yeah.
Okay, Mikey a dog. I wouldn't hold my head down on that.
That was E Bunny's test right there. I bet you he didn't train. I bet you he didn't train as hard as
to beat Mikey Garcia be going to them trenches, man. They be going to them third world countries, man, living in tents and shit, man. Them motherfuckers dig deep. You know what I'm saying? To beat those kind of dudes, man, you gotta take your body to a place it been. You can't just train.
Errol Spence beat him.
Errol Spence is just more skilled, but he didn't beat him like that though. You think he beat him, but he didn't whoop you. You thought he was gonna knock him out. You're not knocking out Mikey. Okay, he cut from a different cloth like that. Mikey Garcia just wasn't skilled enough to beat. If he had just as much skill as Errol Spence, that I don't know, that fight would have been a little bit different. Mikey Garcia, he tough. I give him his credit. Because the way he fought Easter, he walked Easter down. Okay, he literally walked him down in that fight. Easter was winning that fight early in that fight. I say Easter probably won the first 5 rounds. I'm gonna say he won the first 5 rounds, but Mikey Garcia walked him down. Okay, and that's because I say that's because of stamina, you know. And like I said, Easter probably didn't take his body to a place. You got to take your body to a place, man, that it ain't never been if you're trying to beat certain fighters, man, because they're gonna take you there. They're gonna take you. They're gonna walk you down. That's how Joe Frazier won. Joe Frazier walked you down. Okay, he always started off slow, but come the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, man, he walking you down. Okay, you got to be prepared to go there. You got to be damn near prepared to die in that ring against him. Ali damn near died in that ring in the third fight. If you looked at that fight, Ali damn near died in that motherfucking ring, man. Ali was never the same.
Well, who, Joe Frazier?
Yeah, he was never the same after that fight.
He was died in the ring.
Yeah, you look at that fight, man, because when they called the fight I think it was like the 14th, maybe even the last round. It might have been the last round. When they called that fight, Ali got up and fell down to the ground. He fainted. Dude fainted, man. Okay.
He just was exhausted, nigga. That's all that was.
No. I'm telling you, Ali was Frazier. I'm telling you, watch that third fight. That fight was brutal. That's one of the most brutal fights in boxing history.
Who won that fight?
You mean Ali won the fight, but let's say if it went to the cards, if it went to the judges, that shit would have been a draw. I don't know who won that fight, because it started off with Ali winning that fight, and then Joe Frazier was taking him 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round. It was all Joe Frazier. And then it was kind of even after the 10th round. Between the 11th and the 14th round, it was a little even at that point. But Frazier couldn't see.
How did it end?
It ended with they threw in the towel. Frazier's camp threw in the towel because Frazier couldn't see.
Why? His eye was swollen?
Yeah, his eyes were swollen. He couldn't see. He couldn't see Ali. He was out there on instinct.
There was real wars back then.
That was a war. That was a war. That's why I say Floyd, he can't fucking bring me that kind of fight to the table. He doesn't have no fight like that to the table.
He ain't never been split before, has he?
That's my point. No. I mean, Ali ain't never been split either. As many punches as he's taken, you don't have no footage of Ali being split.
Do he got a swollen eye? Believe he got that at least.
I know. Actually, no.
So he don't got no war wounds after a fight.
Nope. Go look at Ali. Go look at every fight. I don't know a fight where he walked off the ring and he had a gash over his eye. I don't recall any of that. None of that. He literally walked in there without a scratch. Walked in and out of boxing without a scratch on his face. No scars, no nothing.
But he was punch drunk.
Yeah,
I wonder if that what really did that shit to him.
I think a Mickey was slipped in on Ali, because I look at it like this. Ali was gone from boxing for 3 years. So that's 3 years of not having any kind of punishment. You know what that does to a boxer? You know how much time that saves on a boxer? And Ali was
the wars you said he went through, niggas.
Yeah, but there was only a few of them. He had Frazier. I wouldn't even call Foreman a war. Frazier was his biggest war. Frazier and Ken Norton Jr. were his biggest wars. Okay, the other fights, I wouldn't necessarily consider those wars though. Like he won, they were good fights, but they weren't wars. Like when he beat Sonny Liston couldn't hit him. And before he was banned from boxing, you cannot hit Ali. Okay, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That was Ali. Okay, that's how he fought. Okay, you couldn't hit him. So then he comes back and he started taking a little more punishment, but he had 3 years off though. And then he retired at 36. So he retires at 36. So he came back at 28. Fought till he was 36. And he's punch drunk. That don't make sense. Mike Tyson should be more punch drunk than him. Still, even though Mike Tyson's fights didn't last that long, he should have been punch drunk. I don't know about that. I do.
He didn't have like 6 wars. Tyson took about 4 beatings, 4 good beatings.
Those beatings were pretty hard. Holyfield wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. Lennox Lewis was probably his worst one. That was his worst one. Was Lennox Lewis. But no, Buster Douglas, Ali never had a fight like that. Ali's never been hit like that, like Tyson was in that Buster Douglas fight. No, you can't bring me a fight. You cannot bring me a fight on Muhammad Ali where he was getting hit like that. No, Mike Tyson should be more punch drunk than Ali. Okay, I'm sorry, Ali, he didn't fight long enough to be punch drunk like that. In his early career, you couldn't hit him. So therefore, he's here and he's walking out of there unscathed. And so he gets banned from boxing for 3 years, and then he comes back and he takes some punishment in it later on. But was it enough? So he had 8 years. He really only had 8 years of punishment for real throughout his career. 8 years. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's a hell of a punishment, man.
No, I'm talking about real. I'm talking about not Holyfield took more punishment than him. Way more punishment. Holyfield took way more punishment than Ali. Okay? He took way more punishment.
Or no?
He ain't not like Ali was. Ali couldn't talk. Ali couldn't do anything. Ali couldn't use the bathroom by himself. He couldn't do anything.
What year did that shit kick in? How old was Ali when he was?
He was young. Young. He was still fighting.
So he wasn't drunk when he was at that.
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was. He was somewhat
When he was
slurred.
fighting, he was drunk.
He was slurred. Yes,
So what when he was shaking and all that, like
that
what
was later on. That was
how
later
was
on.
it when he was drunk like that? When did that start?
Probably in his 40s.
Damn, for real?
Yeah, probably 40s and 50s. Yeah.
Probably his. I don't think that nigga was like that in his
No.
40s.
Yes, he was. He died. Hold on. He was 75 years old when he died.
He
Okay.
was drunk for 20, 30 years.
He was drunk. Yeah. He was silent. Yeah, because you could tell it was a while because when they had the Olympics in Atlanta, he put the torch. He set the torch on fire. Okay, and you can look at him and tell that he was shaking then, and he was in his 50s at that time. He was in his 50s doing this shit.
But he was talking still, wasn't
No,
he?
he wasn't. No. It was like as soon as he retired, it was like you didn't hear from him anymore. You didn't hear from him at all. He only had 8 years of punishment in boxing. Holyfield, man, he went what? He was doing punishment and cruiserweight. That was in the 90s. He retired probably like around. He was fighting in the 80s and the 90s and in the 2000s. So Holyfield was fought. He fought like 17 years, man. 17 years of grind out fights, man. And he had grind out fights, and he should be more dead than Ali. Yeah, Evander Holyfield should be more punch drunk than him.
So you think they said? But Ali, they said he had Parkinson's, though, right?
So they say. That's what they say.
It looked like that same shit Michael J got, though. It did look like it. But how Michael J still living?
Yeah, exactly. How's Michael J. Fox still walking around here? He's still talking and walking and stuff like that.
He talking?
Yeah, I'm sure he is. He probably is. He's been having Parkinson's disease for 20-some years now.
I don't know if they said, but how old is Michael J. Fox now? He got to be old too, don't
he? Yeah, he old. He pushing 60.
And he's still living, right?
Yep.
Motherfuckers don't even see him no more, though.
Holyfield's first fight was 1984. That was his first fight. And he kept fighting. Okay, he kept fighting all the way to 2011. Imagine that. 25 years, really? 25 years? This dude been fighting for 25 years. And he's still walking around here. He's still walking and talking. 60 years old, still walking and talking. But Muhammad Ali had 8 years of punishment. 8 years. They and some people blame this shit on boxing. And I'm like, 8 years of punishment for Ali.
Maybe it wasn't boxing.
I disagree. It was you're probably right. It wasn't boxing. Somebody slipped Ali and Mickey. I don't give a fuck what nobody said. They slipped Ali and Mickey. I don't care what nobody said. Okay, he only had 8 years of punishment. They want to have this narrative that Ali, all those years in the ring, that Ali took all that punishment is the reason why he was punch drunk. He only had 8 years of punishment in the end. Holyfield got 25 years. Okay, 25 years. 11 plus 6. No, he got 27 years of punishment. 27 years of boxing. That's too that he should be dead. Okay, Holyfield should be dead right now. Okay, 8 years to 25, 27. So yeah, Ali didn't have no punishment early in his career. He had 0. When he was 20 years old, when he won a title at 22. Then he was banned from boxing at 25. Between the ages of 22, 25, and in fights he had before Sonny Liston, he had no punishment in those fights. Between the ages of 20 and 25, he had 0 punishment in those fights. You couldn't hit Ali at those times. Ali you couldn't hit him. Okay, he was too slippery. He ran. He danced all over the ring. How's a guy who's dancing all over the ring and dishing out shots and not getting any in return? How's he putting any kind of punishment on his body?
But you know what? Sometimes it might only take one good shot. Think motherfuckers die in the ring, nigga.
Ali wasn't
It was
getting
like a year ago. Niggas was dying, multiple niggas.
Who? One punch?
Yeah, I see well, it was over after the fight. Nigga died. Me and my dad was watching the fight on ESPN. Come to find out, that motherfucker died. I think that shit happened like 2 or 3 times last.
Yeah, I bet you all the punishment. I bet you was taking a lot of punishment in that fight, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got his ass beat.
Okay, yeah, he was taking a lot of punishment in that fight. So give me that fight that Ali was just taking total punishment. Because that shit gotta happen.
I gotta watch them Johns.
Okay. Ali wasn't taking no punishment like that, man. I'm sorry. And like he said, Ali always said that he was a professional. Even when you hit Ali, you really didn't hit him. Okay? You really didn't hit him. He's never been knocked out. I don't know if
he was split, he wasn't getting directly clocked. But when he was doing that rope-a-dope, so dude wasn't sticking him at all.
No. They had this. They would have had this narrative that George Foreman was killing Ali in the first 8 rounds. Ali won every round in that fight. If you watch that fight,
I've seen some of that. He was up against the ropes like this, but motherfucker, he throwing them wild motherfuckers, nigga. Some of that shit, you feeling some of that, nigga. Even though you got your guard up, nigga. Believe that.
Not enough to get punched, Trump.
He's throwing power, nigga. You like this? That shit coming through, you can get hit right here.
No, none of that stuff was hitting. None of those punches were hitting him. Ali was kind of like Floyd when it came to that shoulder roll. Ali kind of you think you got a good punch on him, but as soon as you throw that punch, it just misses. It hits like the top of his head, like somebody doing an exhibition fight, and he was trying to beat Ali. He was trying to knock Ali out. He said, I was really trying to knock him out. He says, I had trained hard for this fight and everything. I went to that ring and I really found out that this guy is a professional fighter. He said, I was trying to knock him out, and every time I swung, I missed. He was doing a rope-a-dope. He was sitting there doing a rope-a-dope just like this, and he was standing straight still. Dude was swinging the punch. Ali standing still just like this. Dude swinging the punch, and he kept missing. He had his head dug down to the point where, yeah, my head is here, but you're not gonna be able to hit me. He had a kind of like a shoulder roll like Floyd too. You couldn't hit Ali directly like that. That's why he was never knocked down like that. Only Frazier knocked him down. Okay, Frazier's the only person that's ever knocked Ali down. Okay, it's the only person that's ever done it. And I say the only reason why he even knocked him down was that Ali was out of gas. He was totally out of gas. He fought Frazier. When he came back from being banned, that was like his second fight. And he should have went into that ring fighting Joe Frazier after fighting one fight before him. He fought one fight before he fought Frazier, which was a tune-up fight. But he needed like 3 fights before he fought Frazier. But I understand why Ali did it. He was broke. He needed the money at that point. He had to fight Frazier for the title, and he didn't care if he won or lost. He was broke. Okay, he didn't have no money at that time, so he took that fight knowing that he really wasn't ready to fight Frazier at that point. Frazier was knocking people out. He was at the top of his game, and Frazier was the better fighter at that moment. Ali wasn't ready for him. He just wasn't ready for him on that fight. So I'm gonna equate that to Ali needing the money on that fight. He got knocked down. Other than that, you wasn't knocking Ali down. Ali wasn't getting knocked down. He might knock you down. Think about it. I say Floyd is not on the level of Ali. Ali, they said it was suicide for this guy to get that ring with George Foreman, and he knocks him out. Okay, think about that. He's supposed to die in that ring. Ali was supposed to die in that ring. Even his friends and his family was thinking that he was about to lose this fight. Okay, I'm sorry. Floyd ain't on that level. as far as
It's
legacy.
gonna kill you, Ali.
He ain't on that level, ain't it?
Well,
What else
Ali
we?
didn't make. What else we got? What else did we have?
We ain't got nothing else on that shit.
So that's pretty much. We had 2 hours. Fuck it. I got a headache anyway. So
Yeah. So what we gonna
we
do tomorrow? We gonna talk about my Uncle Kels tomorrow and everything that's going on. So we gonna talk about Kels and his whole situation in the jailhouse. I want y'all niggas to tune in on that shit. That shit gonna be popping. I got a few things I gotta say about what's going on with my nigga Kels.
But and we can talk NBA, but we just gonna be on some gossip shit on Friday. We just gonna
Yeah.
talk a whole bunch of random bullshit topics. That's how we rock it.
Gossip Friday, y'all.
All
Be
right.
prepared. I'll get up with you.